What is my favorite meme? That is a tough one. Gosh, we'll have to come back to that one. There's so many. I can't be locked down to a favorite meme. I'm Hiroko Yamamura, DJ, producer, nerd from Chicago. Yeah, I like to play music, have a good time, and really excited to be home and hang out. I guess it would be my usual cigarette and Diet Coke. I wish we improved that, maybe in 2026. Good power bank and a Nintendo Switch. My favorite game right now is a game called Ball Pit. It's just this like roguelike that just keeps going and you just bounce a ball around. Definitely you don't need like the new Switch for it. It's like built for the worst systems possible, but it's really addicting. Highly recommend. It's usually go back to sleep, I think. It's like takes about 3 attempts for me to hit that goal. I am an aisle seat person. I think I like to go to the bathroom a lot, and I don't know, I think I kind of bump into the drink cart as like one of my guilty pleasures. My parents making me watch Sound of Music over and over again. So I have the whole movie memorized. I love the Sound of Music. You can't tell though, because it's been so ingrained that you can't tell if you like it if your parents just really liked it and drilled it. Akira or maybe Return of the King. It's maybe a coin flip between those two. But it changes every day, so don't hold me to that one. Yay or nay live action Akira? Absolutely a nay. I think the movie is really about its format. Kind of the story is actually nonsense. The movie was made before the manga was finished, so it kind of doesn't make sense as a story, but the media itself is incredible. It's still maybe the best animated movie of all time. It might be the original Lord of the Rings or Breakfast Club, Clueless. I don't know, there's so many great movies. The music and movies are really tied together for me, so yeah, that's a tough one. I've kind of been watching YouTube since day one, so I think it's probably something before like the rules were put in and naming was there, but yeah, I'm still like a big fan of like the Filthy Frank era of YouTube and kind of all the messes that gave. So Filthy Frank was a Japanese-American comedian and just did, basically these guys tried to break the rules of YouTube, like really hot, kind of one of the first like highly monetized channel in the vein of like a Jackass, but maybe the most offensive content that could exist and shouldn't be out there now. But at the time, it was really funny. Nowadays, of course, most of the jokes are not acceptable. But he's gone on to become Joji, the singer. And so it's been really amazing to watch a content creator kind of go into music and actually make that jump. So if someone would have told me that Filthy Frank would have become Joji at some point, I would have never believed them. The new Snail Mail EP, she's got a new single, and it's really, really awesome. It would still be Panorama Bar. I think it's one of the most exquisite program bars, clubs. Yeah, it's just like a cool place to me because I'm from Chicago. So anytime I get to play in Berlin, I feel like I'm on vacation and having a good time. Number 1 would be late checkout, like a really absurdly late checkout. Refreshments in the fridge that aren't overly priced. Easy check-in and lots of reward points. Everything else, it can be roaches, bed bugs, all the other stuff, no problem. I am a professional napper, so if there is more than like an hour available in the day, I will take that time to take a nice healthy nap. One of those like songs that comes on when you lose at a game show, that's like you lost and you have the walk of humiliation. whatever, we'll choose one randomly. I would say living in Chicago, fall is really amazing because you get to wear cool clothes, you're not too sweaty, and it lasts for like a week here. Like we don't really have fall. We have like summer and winter and then like a week of really cool weather with trees, leaves falling, but it really disappears in a heartbeat. That changes constantly. I would say I think BPM is pretty relative to kind of whatever is before or after you and kind of where you come in on the night. But I would say I like to keep things a little bit under 140, but I'm becoming way more flexible in that neighborhood. So, gosh, maybe Collector, the Pokemon scanning app. I think I open cards and scan cards all the time. Or probably Instagram, actually. Scratch that. Instagram. I live on there. I would love to hang out with my family in an elevator and annoy them. That'd be really cool. I think it is still Pokemon and always has been. My studio, just because it's a known space and kind of one of those people that needs all the stars to align for things to kind of happen. So kind of having a set space that I go to all the time really helps out. But yeah, I guess sometimes the coolest stuff comes out of random places too. So yeah, wherever. In bed, taking a nap. I think that changes all the time, but it's so mood appropriate because sometimes what I think is really funny, I'll find really offensive the next day and be like, what? Or I'll find like a hidden meaning that I didn't know. So, gosh, yeah, I can't nail down that one. That's one I can't answer. I personally just steal them all, so I can only speak on selection, and it's really like when I'm just doom scrolling and suddenly I just let out like a laugh and I'm like same, then it catches me. Because it's really like 0.10 seconds that you have something's gonna catch you or not. Especially when there was a time that I wasn't able to DJ during like lockdown and whatnot, kind of gave me that similar like serotonin hit of like record digging, but in a kind of cheesier, maybe not related situation. So I don't want to relate the two, but kind of scratch the same itch for me. I think I'm really into a lot of the new like technical metal bands. They're really, for me, it's something new, and you're seeing a lot of younger people using technology in cool ways, and yeah, just some really amazing stuff that sounds fresh to me. I'm a very risk-adverse person that is really get nervous about everything before I do it. So for me, it was actually kind of just taking DJing and music seriously and not approaching it as a hobby anymore. I think that was really scary. So fingers crossed that things are working out. I'm here, so maybe. The Manga Berserk. I think that was a pretty life-changing read. It will ruin your life. I overpack a lot. I am late for everything, and I get actually really nervous about flying. So yeah, I don't know why I do this sometimes. There's a lot of cool people that I've not gotten to meet, and kind of not being a very social person. I'm trying to kind of come out of that shell this year and actually talk to people and socialize a bit. So yeah, hopefully I won't be sleeping all the time this year. I guess it would depend on my mental state at that time. Sometimes you really kind of stick with one or the other. I would say I generally attach to melodies first, but really kind of that alchemy where it all comes together is what makes great music. I would say Saigon was really crazy. Yeah, just a really wild town with really cool people. anybody I have aspirations of being around is more of like a fan. I would love to work with Derek Carter, I guess. Science fiction, I think, was really, and like comics and whatnot, were really kind of a moral compass and story to follow. I didn't hang out with people very much and just kind of read a lot. So it was an escape, idealized future, fantasy, and hopefully like a hero's journey where you're like, okay, this is what normal people or moral people do. I think most dark anime, a lot of it's really problematic. What's interesting is to see things that maybe you find problematic, especially if they're from like the 80s or 90s and they don't line up with today's world, to read them with your kind of current morality. I think it's really interesting how those things change. Sometimes seeing the ugly side of things, but if it's in a different format, it kind of makes it a little bit more digestible and less horrific sometimes. Yeah, I would say they're such a part of my kind of media consumption that it's hard to separate them. But at the same time, like, I'm not playing like Elden Ring soundtracks when I'm DJing, as much as I'd love to, but I don't think I can pull that off. I'll work out the Techno rave remix. I would hate myself if I did that. You know, I was really lucky to kind of hang out with people from kind of all of the areas of Chicago. Because I am admittedly a suburbs kid, everything was kind of new to me, and I personally didn't really represent anything. So as an outsider, getting invited to stuff on the south side, north side, west side, without being kind of part of it, gave me the ability to kind of jump between all the different crews and music styles. So I think one of the things in Chicago is people come from a certain area and, you know, there's only so much media you can consume. So you think that is this sound, which makes Chicago cool because everything is different depending on where you're from. And if you're from the suburbs, you get to kind of pick and choose in a really, I guess, in a not great way, but I appreciate having that perspective. I think I was really lucky because things are really formative when I started going out. Wave 2 of stuff, so it wasn't like the original music, but it was kind of the second generation of DJs that I got to see. And at the time, there wasn't many DJs, not a lot of producers. So getting to see that stuff as it was coming up was really special, and it was new and unique. So it kind of felt like there was a movement going on. Whereas kind of nowadays things have settled a little bit, so people just fight about genres and whatnot. At the time, I didn't know what anything was. It was all cool rave stuff, and so it all kind of blended together. With machines, you're really able to kind of go at your own pace without maybe feeling embarrassed about stuff. It's given a bit of being able to do everything yourself on your own pace. Yeah, versus like being in a band versus playing with machines or computers, you don't have that like embarrassment of trying new things in front of a room full of people. You kind of just get to do the worst thing multiple times over until you hone it into something that maybe people can digest a little bit. I would say the Elektron Monomachine is still my favorite. It was a gift from Heartthrob from Minus, and it was a lot of like legendary tracks are made on this thing. It is so, I don't want to say difficult, but I really don't know how to program the thing. So kind of this wild stuff will come out of there. And the next time you turn it on, it sounds different. So it makes you just kind of record what it's doing because you're going to lose that sound the next time. It's hard to separate those two nowadays. It's about timing more than anything. I think you want to be thoughtful about what you're playing, but when you hear a song, even when you're out, you're like, you know what'd be really good with this, or what makes sense next? And so even when you're watching other DJs, you're like, man, it would be really cool to mix this other track in there. So I think after you do it for a little while, it kind of becomes just something you're thinking about all the time. Making the conscious thought to step away from being in the techno genre, seeing how things were being gatekept and people worrying about like the purity of genres and whatnot, especially online, made me think that I kind of wanted to escape that label and social group of things. So really tried to not be a techno DJ anymore, even though I guess I still play techno. I think Chicago, right? Like living here is amazing, but there's all sorts of crazy stuff. And it's actually one of the cities that, if you think about it, still has a bit of kind of wildness that others don't. So, yeah, it's scary at times, but I really love it here. My life is a struggle, and being creative is a struggle, but I think a little bit of understanding that not everything I make is about me, and it's sometimes about making something and just it is what it is. I don't have to be really tickled by it because that starts to go away after a certain amount of time. Like I think when you first start making music and DJing, you get really proud of yourself early and you're like, wow, I really kick butt, especially when you start getting praise and people are like, oh, that's really great. That wears off after a bit. And so when those become like praise or sales, it maybe drives you initially and it feels good, right? When people are like, oh, that's a really great song or it gets a great review, it doesn't do much anymore later. So I think starting to ignore those things, of course, anybody saying something nice to you is usually better than somebody saying something mean to you. I think just doing something for the sake of doing it. The fact that things are always improving and changing, like especially with the new landscapes with AI and kind of how scary that might be, it's like it's inevitable, right? And things are the way they are. So I can just read about it online and be worried about it, and then 4 years later, all the technology has changed. I think that's part of the excitement of working in electronic music is the tools are constantly changing and improving, and the focus is less, right? So it used to be if you couldn't operate these certain drum machines and understand how certain voltages worked on a sequencer, then you couldn't produce electronic music. Now those aren't things you have to worry about. So you're changing a CV voltage or understanding MIDI delay and all that kind of stuff. It is those requirements in those first steps to be able to do stuff, they're completely different. So in that way, having a new problem to solve is kind of exciting, but really terrifying. Midwest Panic soundtrack for a dystopian anime, what would it be? I would say Steve Poindexter, Computer Madness. I think it's this really wild, futuristic track that it's so great. I think everybody should try music production with the tools that are there now. I think there's a lot of folks that will dissuade you right now, especially now that there's a lot of competition and the tool sets are getting easier. People can just go into Splice and grab whatever loops they want. I think those are tools that should actually empower people. I think there's absolutely, those are great things to be using. And I hope people aren't dissuaded by my generation and the old guard kind of gatekeeping stuff, and that we're not going to be doing this forever. So things have to change, and I hope people will come on board and do the new next thing. Gosh, there's been such amazing artists coming through here, especially internationally. I would love to see David Castellani or like a Headless Horseman or something would be super cool. I think that'd be really fun.